Now you probably know the original fat PS2 has a disk drive that just slides out, and then the PS2 Slim has a top-loading disk drive that pops open. But did you know there's also a fat PS2 that has a top-loading disk drive? Well, apparently there is. So I bought it, and in this video, we're gonna test it out and see what kind of really cool and frankly, really sketchy things it can do. We have quite the packaging here, and oh my goodness, this thing is insane. Let's pull it out and take a closer look. All right, now first of all, I didn't realize quite how dirty this thing was from the eBay photos. I guess to be fair, the eBay photos are really bad, but you can see we have, oh dude, we actually got bugs up here. You gotta be kidding me. And then we have this really cool blue shell, but it's just scratched up to oblivion. But other than that, the front looks pretty normal, except for the fact the whole disk drive piece is missing there. And then flipping to the bottom is clearly just a blue see-through, and that's just, it's so cool to see through stuff. I don't know, man, just the whole like 90s aesthetic here. We even have the network adapter here on the back, which actually, let me go ahead and take that off and see if there's anything secret hidden inside. Yeah, nothing in there except just loads of dirt and dust and grime. Now guys, the main elephant in the room here on this console is the fact that this thing is a top loader PS2. Just look at that thing. You can sure enough see that it's just carved out here on the top, and I think you press this button and it'll just pop open. Yep, just like so. And that's strange because usually a fat PS2 disk drive just kind of slides out and slides back in. And it's basically like morphing a PS2 Slim, which, you know, pops open like so, into a fat PS2. So just very strange stuff, and apparently allows you to play other regions of games and backup games, which we'll test out later. But let's go ahead and, yeah, let's move on. Now, I also bought another one of these top loaders here, so we have two of them. I just want to see if there's a difference physically and if it works differently, but you can see this one is actually in much better condition for the most part. Still pretty dirty, but not nearly as bad as the last one. But let's go ahead and I guess start with the blue one, plug it in, and just see how it functions. All right, guys, console is plugged in. Let's go ahead and turn it on and see what this thing can do and see how it works. So first, you can't really see the power light. You can only see it on top, but not through the button on the front, which is kind of strange. Let's go ahead and see if it turns on. There it is. So you can see the green and blue there now, which is nice. And obviously, the first thing I want to test is just if the normal drive function works. Yeah, it comes out very slowly, but it does. Oh, now it's pulling itself back in. But yeah, that does function. And then you close it up, press this little button here, and kind of pull up, and yeah, you can just swap a game inside. It's got a pretty satisfying click to it though, because it's got a magnet down there, so it kind of clicks in, and then you click it all the way in, and yeah, that's kind of nice. But let's go ahead and start by testing a normal PS2 game, so just MX versus ATV Unleashed. This is an NTSC game, which this should be an NTSC console. Honestly, I'm concerned that this console might not even read games because this thing is in horrible condition. Like, it's supposed to be working, but we'll see. I guess I should not have doubted it because it's working perfectly fine. And now, guys, next up, I want to test out something that's, yeah, don't try this at home, but let's see what happens. We're gonna pop this disk drive open as it's running. This is not a good idea, but I'm really curious what happens. Oh, yeah, okay, so, oh gosh. Yep, that's not a good idea. And what's sketchy there is the disk drive keeps spinning because it doesn't know it's open because like there's been no trigger. Like the difference is if you press the button down here, the console knows the disk is ejected and it shouldn't be playing anymore. But when you just pull up the top, it just has, it doesn't trigger anything, which is kind of the secret here, and that's why cool things can be done. But next up, I want to try something else here. So I have a Japanese PS2 game, and natively you can't play Japanese PS2 games on an American PS2. Oh, let me just show you this. Yeah, so Japanese game in there, it did spin up, but now it's got the red screen of death, which we never want to see on the PS2. So that's what happens on a normal PS2, but I have a trick up my sleeve here. So we have these Swap Magic 3 coder discs here. The DVD version is for the PS2, and I believe this one right here is for the PS1. And I think what happens is you pop one of these in, and then it lets you swap the game like while you're playing. Oh yeah, that looks funky. Let's go ahead and throw one inside though and just see what it does. Okay, so it does read the Swap Magic disc. Let's go ahead and boot that up. We're booted up into this disc now, and it says, what is this? Normal, special, SM boot, cheat menu. I guess we'll try normal and just see what that does to start with. Okay, so now we're back to the game. I think this is where I swap in my other games. So let's go ahead and pop this bad boy open, put it to the side. Then we'll just let's start with a normal game here. So I'll pop in our NTSC version of MX versus ATV Unleashed, clamp it down. We'll press normal here, default, and let's see if it boots. Okay, that's not quite what I expected. Let me actually try an import game here. Maybe this doesn't function properly if you use just a regular US game. So we'll go ahead and try our Japanese game. Ah, wait, I just realized this Japanese game is actually a compact disc, so we need to use the other version of our Magic, Swap Magic here. So let me try this one more time. We'll try our Swap Magic game. All right, back to this menu. We'll go ahead and pop the game out here, or the Swap Magic, and then put our Japanese game in. Nope. All right, let's try the other PS2. Oh wow, and the clock battery is actually good on this other PS2. I gotta say, this one's actually in really nice condition. Props to this seller. No props to this seller over here, because that thing's garbage. But let's go ahead and see if the game loads up. Yo, it's going! Ha! That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, baby, this is why I bought two PS2s. I didn't trust that seller, man. I got two of them, just in case. Well, I might have spoken too soon, because now the game is just, it's frozen. This thing was pretty slow to load up the blue back disc games here, so let's go ahead and try out just a normal PS2 game. Now back to this screen, we'll go ahead and pop the top loader back open, and I will say the other one is a little bit nicer. Like this one kind of falls around. It doesn't have the nice little button right there, whereas this one over here has the button. It releases, it pops up, and it actually stays right there. So this thing is a little bit nicer in terms of that functionality, but at least this one over here works. So we'll pull the disc out. And I actually have a PAL PS2 game to try out here, so it's a European game. Let's go ahead and pop this inside and see if that works. Press normal and default again. Sure enough, it boots right up. It's actually sick that somebody came up with the idea of creating a custom case with a top loader disk drive for a fat PS2. Just like mind-blowing. But this thing's been around for probably 15 or 20 years at this point. And yeah, this one actually is loading up and working. So this one, the silver discs work better than the blue discs, which is honestly pretty common for PS2s to just stop reading blue discs or get really slow. Kind of unfortunate. Oh, dude, that scared me for a second. I saw the red background. I thought it was the red screen of death, but no, it's just part of the game. Yeah, that's so sick. Now, let me just show you, let me just verify on this PS2 that when you play a PAL game by default, it doesn't work. Yep, so trying to play the PAL game without the swap magic disc, you get the red screen of death, so great. Now next up, guys, I got something really interesting I want to try, so we'll go ahead and pop the magic disc back in. And I actually have this totally legit copy of Capcom Classics Collection. Let me actually just let you compare. So here on the right side is the real game, on the left side is obviously not real. As you can see, the text is just wrong, and the whole thing is just wrong. And looking at the back, you can clearly see the data was burned on the disc, and then the outside portion is just has nothing on it. But I think the swap magic disc allows us to play these type of games. So let's go ahead and try to swap it. So pull the swap magic disc out. We'll put the totally legit game inside. Yo, I can't believe this is actually working. Let's go. By the way, this game came in just like I bought a random lot of games, I think a couple years ago, and this was in there. It was honestly very surprising, but it's just awesome to kind of have this sitting around. And yep, sure enough, it works perfectly fine. This is awesome. I died like 10 seconds in. Let's go back to the main menu though, and I want to just verify real quick this game won't work on its own. So we'll go ahead and restart the console, and now it'll just try to read it up without the swap magic disc. We'll see what happens. I'm really hoping it'll tell me it's like contacting the police or something, because I have a totally legit game. And yep, there it is, red screen of death again. So this thing, it works. It's awesome. Now let's try something else here. So let's go ahead and put the swap magic disc in, and I'll kind of explain the situation. So back on the screen, and normally we would pop the top loader open like so, and then swap the disc, but I'm curious what happens when we just press the eject button. I'm assuming it'll just kick us back to the main menu, because basically at this point the PS2 knows that we opened the disc drive, and it's gonna give us some big no-nos, I would assume. Or maybe it'll just keep working. Okay, yeah, so as we suspected, it goes to a red screen of death because we ejected the game and put it in there instead of using the top loader. Now we do still have some more stuff to test, and next up we have this little swap magic slide tool that should allow you to swap discs without even using the top loader here. So let's go ahead and try this. Let me just kind of show you how it's supposed to work. So we're back on the blue PS2. We have the swap magic disc booted up here. And also, by the way, the reason I'm using the slide tool on this console over here is because you actually need to take the disc drive off, or the disc drive cover off, to use it. Whereas over here, you can't actually slide it in with the disc drive cover on. So that's why I'm using it on the blue console instead of the black one. And let's see if we can get this tool to work. So I think you slide it in like so, and then push it to the right side, I think. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so you probably missed it there, but I pushed it and the disc lowered a little bit, and now I think I can pull it out. Oh, there we go. I pushed it all the way. Oh, there it goes. Okay, I got it coming out now. And now we'll swap back in our totally legit game and push this thing back in. Yeah, it's back in now. Let's go ahead and press this. Okay, maybe it's not all the way back in. That's not ideal. All right, so slide it in again, all the way to the right, pull it out. And I think what I have to do now is put that thing back in there and pull it back to the left. Oh yeah, there we go. You can see the disc just lifted back up. Nice. And now let's try it out again. Yeah, so that did not work, but I think it's just an issue with this PS2. I'm not sure what the deal is, but it keeps kicking me back to the main screen whenever I put a new disc in. Not quite sure, but doesn't work as intended. At least this one does. And guys, there are still some more things I want to try here. So we have the disc booted back up into the working PS2, and I want to try this cheat menu here. So we come on here. Oh yeah, we got cheats for a ton of games. So a bunch of Japanese games, also a bunch of PAL games, as you can see, and then a ton of USA games as well. Ah, nice. So we do have some cheats for the PAL version of Star Wars Jedi Starfighter, which is the game we have right here. Let's go ahead and click on that, and we'll see what it loads up. Oh, actually, if you go to the right, you can see all the cheats enabled here. So it's basically like the entire game is completed, it looks like. So we'll go ahead and select that, press start, and I think the game should boot up here. What is special? I don't know what special is, but let's I don't want to do that. Oh, I guess it's doing it anyway. All right, we'll see if this works. All right, well, now the cheats are freezing the console. The first time I tried it, it just froze when I was trying to load the mission, so I tried it with a memory card to see if that would make a difference, and now it's just frozen on the memory card, which is just great. So I tried a third time and frozen again here. So the cheats thing is cool, but I guess it has an issue with this game. Not quite sure, but cool idea. And I wanted to mention that on the PS2 Slim, you can't do this process natively, even though you might think you can because you can pop the disk drive open like this, but basically when you pop it open, the PS2 Slim is notified that the disk drive is opened by like a sensor back here. So this kit I bought actually includes a bunch of little pieces you can install in the PS2 Slim to basically render that sensor useless, I guess. And then you can swap games in and out with the magic swap tool and that sort of thing. So I don't know, just cool stuff. Now, one other feature to mention here is the launch SMB boot option, which basically I believe lets you put in a flash drive or a hard drive and boot stuff off of there. But in general, this kind of brings us back to the fact that this top loader thing is not really a mechanism people use anymore, because you can just pretty easily mod your PS2 and load up all your stuff on a hard drive or a memory card. But me personally, I think this is cooler because it's hardware rather than booting everything through software. But guys, let me know down below what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.